as we are starting with our last fireside chat of today, I slowly but surely move to this side of the stage. In 2017, an app was launched that changed the payment behavior in Switzerland forever. Whether you want to pay very quickly some parking fees, or you want to transfer some money to your friend, or you don't have a credit card by hand when you're online shopping in Switzerland, we just TWINT our money. Today, I have the pleasure to talk to one of the founders who also was the former CEO of TWINT. Nowadays, he is mainly involved as a board member of startups and SMEs. He is also a strategy consultant, startup coach, and co-lecturer of the Strategy Champion course. Together, we will talk about the immense success of TWINT, and we will ask him for the ultimate tip when it comes to your own startup strategy. Welcome here on stage, Thierry Kneissler. Hello, Thierry.
Hi, Chelana.
Nice to have you here today.
You.
Please take a seat. Oh, that's very comfy here. I didn't know that the whole day.
Cool.
Okay, so a very easy question to start with. How often are you still using TWINT?
I'm using TWINT today most often when my kids ask me for money, so I send them the money.
Because it's so easy.
Yeah, that's I think many of us do. So that's my main use case, I would say. 2-3 times a week, something like that.
The most often one, but
Yeah.
you don't use it as often as the time when you were working at TWINT, right?
Yeah, back then it was more like a test case. So back then I even went to some shops, a detour that I could use TWINT that I'm not doing anymore.
I can imagine that. So let's start immediately with the beginnings of TWINT. I, of course, did my research here before our talk, and I found some interviews where you explained the start of TWINT a little bit like that. 2 colleagues and we were working at PostFinance, and then we had a meeting together. Mobile payment was an upcoming topic, and we just had the idea for TWINT. Was it really that easy?
Yes, I say it was something like that. I mean, perhaps we had 1 or 2 workshops, not only 1, but perhaps 2 to decide that. But basically the main reason that we thought, okay, yes, we should have an app which you can use at the cashier, that you can use online, and that you can use between friends. And best would be when you can connect that to a bank account. That idea came pretty early, yes.
And your team, were you people only with a background in finance and business, or also computer science? The 3 of you?
No, we were more like, so I was more like for the vision thing and strategy, and the one colleague was then more one who took that and said, okay, how can we turn that into a product? You have nice ideas, but this has to work. And the third one was more into marketing and sales. So we didn't have IT in the core, but that was something, obviously, that we then got quite fast.
Later. And after this meeting, what happened then? What was the process?
Yes, I mean, you must imagine we were at post-finance post, so big companies, so usually you just write a proposal, and it takes 6 months, and then whatever happens, right? But we thought, okay, no, we think the idea is so big, or has the potential to become so big. We bypassed everything, went straight to the CEO of the Swiss Post and to our board president of PostFinance and pitched the idea to them. So basically, there were 5-6 people knowing about the project, so we pitched them, and then they said in that meeting, that's cool, we do that.
Crazy.
And yeah, so that was really cool. And this was then really moving fast forward. And so we could start after 3 months after the first idea. We had the go from the company, and TWINT was found.
Crazy, that's very, very fast for a company like Swiss Post.
Yes.
But there you have to overcome still a lot of hurdles, I can imagine, and convince a lot of people.
Yes.
Do you have a tip for someone who has a similar task to do or to convince in a big company, someone of an innovative idea?
Yes. I think what is very important, first, you must be able to pitch your idea in 1 minute, right? I mean, for us, it was very easy, as I said. Our app can do this and this and this, and you can pay, and you connect it to your bank account. You can transfer that idea in 30 seconds, so either you like it or not. So I think that's important. Second, in the big companies, for us, it was very important that we then said, okay, and we'd like to do this. If you, as Post Finance, want to fund this and create this company, we'd like to lead that. Okay. I think that was very important. Also to see the management, there is not only a nice idea and nobody wants to do it, but these are the guys who wants to develop it. I mean, there are many other things, but I think these were the main part.
So showing that you really want to take over the responsibility.
Yes, yes, yes. Also go into the risk, personal risk, and say, hey, I have a job that is totally secure, so I'm ready to trade that to another one. So take some risk.
Let's talk about this. You were an innovation manager before, right?
Strategy. Innovation was also at my part, yeah.
Okay. And afterwards, you were the CEO suddenly of TWINT. Were you ready for this change?
I don't know. We just started it. I mean, CEO is a big word, right? We were starting it with 5 people, right? And back at Post Finance, I was leading 100 people, so this was not. So leading people is not a problem. It was more, I think, the question was, were we ready to build a company? We were startups. We said no, we were not. And so for that, we hired quite fast 2 or 3 people who came out of startups. We said, hey, we know what we want to do, we understand the business, but we don't know how to build it, we don't know how to build a startup. Please come help us here. And so I think the team then, we got the right competences in there together.
That's exactly my next question, finding the right team. I can imagine that's a process that can be very difficult. You told us that you were searching for people with startup experience. What else was important?
Well, as I mentioned before, for us it was very important to find IT. IT, we want to build it very fast. So we knew we cannot find that fast that many IT people, so we went with an external IT company. For us, it was important that was a company that we just could onboard in a week very fast. And we were lucky to do that because we knew the people. We knew the people back then. We had a relationship back, so that was for us important. And basically, the first 20 people, we just hired them by, hey, we have this opening, you know somebody, and then, yes, I know somebody, let's talk to these people. And then we formed this team. It was very much, it was not very formal.
So word of mouth more to find
Yes, and also knowing, hey, can you ask somebody, hey, we need somebody in sales. Oh, yes, I know somebody in sales. I asked that person if she'd like to join. And so that's how we started, perhaps the first 20 people.
I can imagine that there are many advantages when you're a spin-off of such a big company.
Yes.
But of course, also many disadvantages. And this is the reason why you decided to not only legally be distanced to the Post Finance, but also physically.
Yes.
You searched for a new office at another place. Why was that so important?
For us, it was very much important, right? I mean, you must imagine, we built a new payment solution with the Handy, so this cannibalizes the card solution of Post Finance, because we were there competing for the same transactions. So in the beginning, I mean, the people from the card team, they didn't like that. What happens here, right? And we knew that they won't like that. But we needed to concentrate all our energy in building up the new things, right? There were so many questions. They were so unclear if this would work. We said right from the beginning, we cannot let us held back by having to discuss, to argue always with the company why we do that. And I also said, okay, and I also don't want to do that over lunch. So not having just only an office and then we go together with lunch and then you have to discuss that. We said no, separate room where we go together for lunch, not with the other people, that we can focus 100% on our idea.
Okay.
And I mean, it was good, and it was also good to really form this new company, right?
Sure.
So it was something else. It was not Post Finance, it was TWINT. And so that was very important. I think it was, yeah, otherwise it wouldn't have worked, I think.
So also to build up a new culture, I can
Yes, I mean, big companies, they don't move that fast, right? I mean, we had to move fast, and so even that also was part of it.
Before today, we already had a little talk together, and there you explained me that as TWINT, your strategic focus was more on B2B, especially on the retailers.
Yes.
And this is different compared to the competitors that you had back then, because they were coming up to the market very quickly, as you can imagine. Why was that the correct approach for you as TWINT?
Yes, I mean, it's always, right? There are many startups out there who have the same problem as we had.
Sure.
We built a platform and we had a two-sided market. So we needed customers on it and we needed merchants on it. So if you only have one side, then the platform doesn't have value. All of us know that. And so you have always the question, what do you build up first? And we decided now to go for the business side first, because it's faster, and we were lucky then that we could convince Coop as one of the two big ones to join. So for us, it was much faster to convince Coop, one big one, and then they have 1,000 shops on the system, than to convince 100,000 people to join. So that's how we did it. On the other side, I mean, we merged in 2016. We merged in the two solutions. That was payment from UBS and Six who went there. They went the other strategy. They said, oh, no. We first create a community of people, and then when we have this community, we say, hey, we have a community, merchants put our system up. I mean, in the end, we had around the same customer numbers, so when we merged, so you cannot say one strategy was better than the other. I think both can work, and I think important is that you just have a strategy and that you then follow that one.
And this merge, if I understand you correctly, was then the entrance to the B2C more target group. So it was easier then because you already had a community from the other.
Yes, I mean you had the community. I mean it was not like that. I mean also TWINT, right? We not only build up business customers, but also private customers. But we didn't have that many, right? The other side, as Paymate, they had more private customers but less business. I mean basically it was just a merge, and it helped a lot. So we brought the user base on both sides on a new level.
So with TWINT, you actually changed a little bit of the consumer behavior as well. As I told you at the beginning, the payment behavior. And as we all know, we're lazy at heart as human beings, and we don't want to change for anything.
Yes.
How did you do that? Because it's an immense success, and I know it's very easy to use, but did you have a specific strategy here?
I mean, it took a long time.
Yeah,
it took a long time. I mean, we started in 2014, 2015, the first solutions went to the market, so you could use it. And the uptake then came 2017, end of 2017, it started, you could see it. 2018 was nice. And then with the pandemic, it exploded. So we didn't have the magic bullet just to, okay, hey, here is the new solution, so do this trick, and whole Switzerland uses it. I think this is not there. I say today you need time, and you need very much, and I think that we did quite right. You need to have, in the beginning, an image. You are an innovator, you're creating something new. Then the 10-20% of people who just say, hey, cool, new stuff. I'd like to try it out. Huh? You use it. Huh? They went on it. Huh? But then you have the problem, the other 80%, they're not jumping on the innovation solution. They only come when they say, hey, it's safe, it works, everybody using it. And that's also then with the time, we changed our communication. It also became a bit boring. Huh? It became a bit boring, settled down, not that wild as in the first couple of years. So we could attract everybody. Huh? And I think this shift, TWINT managed it. It was also, I wouldn't say it was everything planned, it was also a bit by accident, but looking back, I think it was the right sequence, and that then helped that also people could, that also the whole population basically could jump on the system.
So the right timing as well.
Yes, and also especially the right sequence, right? Being innovative first, and then changing, that you're also a bit boring, you're there already, you're secure, everybody uses it, so it's no big deal. It's no big deal anymore to also use that solution.
Sure. So before we talk about the moment when you left TWINT, I have a little story to tell, because now I wanted to ask you a question that I thought, oh, everyone wants to know this, but then you posted a LinkedIn post recently where you told that this question is the one that you get asked the most recent times when you're doing an interview. Can you imagine which question it is?
Yes.
Which is it?
Yes. What does TWINT mean?
Yes, exactly. What does the name TWINT mean? And we're not going to answer it now. No. Because if you want to know it, you can have a look on your LinkedIn page.
Yes, that's a good idea.
So that's why. Let's talk about the time when you left TWINT, 2018. Why was that the right moment for you?
It was the right moment. I like to build up something. I like to build up something. I like to have this idea and then to do this. And you see it, and we saw back then, 2018, we saw it would work, right? We had around 2,500 onboardings a day, each day, Saturday, Sunday. It didn't really matter if somebody did some marketing. Then it went up to 10,000, but even nobody did any marketing, we had 2,500. So you run the numbers, and then you know this works. This is going to work. And then when you have, we were around the 1 million customers back then. There is customer support is important, processes are important, organizations, and it must run always, and there is not that much this innovation aspect in there. And so for me, it was the right time. It was for me the right time because, as I said, I'm more the build-up guy and perhaps not so much the run guy. But I think it was also important for the organization because they needed more of this run guy stuff. And I think also you must have this thing also in the CEO level. And so for me, it was the right moment back then to do that.
And what happened then? What was your next step?
Yes, then, I mean, first actually I knew I'd like to have this change. I didn't know what I want to do. But then I said, okay, I have so many ideas, so I'm not going back to the corporate world. For me, it was clear because I got used to the speed of TWINT, and I knew, okay, I can't go back to slower speeds. And, but also, I didn't have the power to do another startup because the 4.5 years were quite stressful. Yes. And I said, okay, hey, just now a bit of calm down. So I just made myself independent. I have my own little company. I started with a lot of consulting, and then after 1 or 2 years, I had more, again, interest in startups. And so, but I'm now more in the investor board role and not in the front, so second row and not first row of building up.
And how do you choose your activities in these boards? Are these all startups that are, for example, in the finance sector?
No, actually, totally. I mean, I have a couple of them because that's where my usual, my basic network is in there. But I have another one in psychotherapy, and then camper production, cybersecurity, and so these are very broad things. No, basically, I choose them opportunistically. I don't have a fixed model. To me, there must be really a market problem out there. So I must say, okay, I really see a potential of a business there. And there must be people in there who really want to do it. So really have the power who bring in 100%, 200%, because otherwise it doesn't work. And so these are my main things where I choose them, so not very scientifically.
Okay, so if you want to convince Thierry to be in your board, then you have to have a great team and the spirit.
Yes,
I can
absolutely.
see this here. You're also a startup coach.
Yes.
What are typical problems that you're seeing or questions that they're having, your coachees?
Yeah, so I'm coaching not every aspect. I'm coaching basically business model, strategy, financing a bit. So these are my roles. I mean, I see many, they have good ideas, great ideas, but then they have difficulties in building a business model out of it. And I think this is a big one because in the end, it's about some time generating money. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And I see, especially on the revenue side, many startups just have a number. Oh, in 2 years, 1 million revenue. But then I say, okay, that's not good enough. What is this million? Where is it coming from? Who is this? Who should pay you, right? Who are the customers? Why should they pay you? When do they pay you, right? And then really going deep into that one, that then also shows, that then also deepens the understanding in the market. I think this is very much something that you have to know how the market works. And these are main questions that I tackle then.
And if a startup wants to be coached by you, how can they approach you? Do you just have an email address where they can write you, or how is this happening normally?
Yeah, this startup coaching I'm doing, and this is a program that I'm doing, and so this is a bit like concentrated on the canton of Bern.
Oh, okay.
It's perhaps a bit the problem. No, this is really by the state of Bern. They really, I think, do a great job in that one, that they have a pool of coaches and startups can approach them and then they can choose coaches in there. So it's more like in that area. And so I have enough people coming out of that ecosystem. Yes.
I see. And as you're a strategy expert, when it comes to building a startup strategy, do you have one tip that is very important, or one thing that every startup should keep in mind when they're thinking about their own strategy?
Yeah, I mean, there are many, but one,
Yes.
the one, I mean, we all know startups should solve problems. So, be a painkiller, not a vitamin. So, okay, we all know that. But in my experience, also the last couple of years, I mean, we just had 2 days ago a long discussion in a board. Yesterday I had a discussion about that, so it's really hot, this topic. It's not enough. It's not enough only solving a problem, but you have to solve an urgent problem. So, because I also see myself, I have many things that perhaps they might be a problem for me, but it's okay when it's solved in 1 year, 2 years. It might be even okay that it's not solved at all. But when you have an urgent problem, a big problem, and I want to solve it now, then you have a market, right? I mean, I just a couple of seconds. This morning, somebody came to me for a coaching now, and he told me, "Hey, yesterday I had a great day." I said, "Okay, what happened?" He said, "Hey, I closed the deal with somebody who called me." So he was called. The startup was called by a big company. It's a big company. They called him and said, "Hey, I heard of your product. I want to have that."
Great.
And after 2 weeks, he closed the deal. He said, normal cycles, 9 months. So this for that customer, this problem was very, very urgent. And this moves it. So really, go for the real urgent problem, and when you don't find it, change your offer until you really have it. Yes.
Is there also a no-go in the strategy process that you shouldn't do?
I mean, there are many no-goes.
Of course.
There are many no-goes.
Maybe something you're seeing often.
Yeah, I mean, I see quite often that you stick too long to your basic idea, and you say, "Oh, yes, but let's try again. I said, "Hey, we tried it now 3 times. It's 3 different approaches. It didn't work." Why should it work at the first time? Because we don't see it, huh? We don't see it, huh? Really, then being also yourself and say, hey, okay, that's okay. I see something else. We have to change. Huh? That's hard. Huh? This is also personal. It's my idea I had, and so my idea now is not right, huh? Or has to change. And I think for that, and also that I see my role, and also with other board members, with my colleagues, say, hey, we have to bring those people to that one. Huh? And so we can say, hey, okay, we've seen it before. You did well. Huh? It's a good job. It's no problem to change. Huh? And we all know we should, but then it's always hard that you do it.
It's their baby and they don't want to let go. So you told us after TWINT you didn't have energy to found a new startup. Is it time now? Are you ready for a new one?
It's okay as it is now, right?
Okay.
I'm helping a lot of, I'm even in a couple of startups, it's not co-founder, that's too much, huh? But more really, not the traditional board member, it's more like, okay, really helping the team, developing, helping them with strategy, and so, and for me it's very nice how it is now, and for me, if those startups where I'm involved in, when they're successful, I also think I'm successful. That's good.
Good to hear. Maybe one day. We don't know.
Yes.
We're perfectly in time to start our Q&A session. Let's see what kind of questions we have from our crowd. So which growth areas do you see for TWINT today, even if you're not part anymore?
Okay. Yes, I can only speculate from the outside. I think one of the biggest growth areas, and you see that coming, you see that, we also had the concept back then, but you see it more, this solutions more than payments. Huh? You can do parking, you can do parking for long now, but you can donate, and you can buy products in that. So all this stuff that come out, the idea comes out of Asia, of the super apps. Huh? So having more of this part, because this then leads to basically enhancement of the payment process itself. I think this is still, they do a lot, but I think there's still more to come, and so I would concentrate on that one.
So this also brings us to the next question. Since you left TWINT, what part or parts of the strategy would you have approached differently, like afterwards, if you look back?
So meaning for TWINT, I think.
Yes.
Yes, I don't want to talk about, it's not good when you as a former CEO talk about the company, but I think I can rephrase a bit the question, what I would have done differently when we were in charge.
Exactly, yes.
When we were in charge.
Like this.
And basically, I would have built it slower. And because we were hammering out features way too fast, looking back, because we thought we had to. There was no need in having to, which led us. We were overwhelmed. The team was overwhelmed. We overwhelmed our customers. I still remember a couple of days. They say, "What happened? Hey, I just got used to your app, and now you have 2 new features. You're too fast for us." Huh? So this, I think, we could have gone much more controlled, and in the end, most probably, we would have even been faster. Huh? So this was something.
I see. So the next question, today virtually every bank supports TWINT. What is the story behind making that happen?
Well, I think, TWINT was, then 2016, we really went together. The 6 biggest banks came together in Switzerland. So it was a Swiss initiative. And there were also many banks also back there in there, were perhaps 60, 70, and today is almost everyone. Today it's very easy, huh? That I hear from the banks all the time. We just must have TWINT. Huh? It's just customers to say, hey, it cannot be a bank. My bank doesn't have TWINT. What happens? Huh? So I think, and it's quite easy. It's just the success of the solution that it's just a must-have product today.
So it speaks for itself. We take another one. Which companies or technologies do you see as possible disruptors for TWINT? All questions about TWINT. He has so much knowledge about strategy, and
That's
you're
okay.
just asking about TWINT.
That's
Sorry.
okay. Yeah. No, basically, it's not, I don't see companies at the moment. I mean, who should come? It will not be Apple, it will not be Google. I think this thing's done. There are two technologies coming. One is so-called instant payment, direct booking on bank accounts within seconds. When you think that through, TWINT is an intermediary. When you think that through, it might become hard for all intermediaries. I also talk about credit cards and so on. TWINT is in there, so that's one technology. And then the second one, perhaps, and this instant payment is here. Switzerland just started on a low level, but this is not theory. And then the second one is perhaps a couple of years out. But there's the question of stable coins, so blockchain-based payments. Technology there also is ready. We see some things coming up, and I think this will be part of the future of payment. So, I think these two things, all payment providers have to look out for them.
So we're already at the end. Thank you very much, Thierry, for being here, and big applause for Thierry Kneissler.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, Juliana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.